Introduction. I was anxious and my heart was pounding as Dad and I drove east on Route 50 towards the Chesapeake Bay. We were running late, not unheard of in my family, but unacceptable to the hunting guides of Maryland's eastern shore, who always insisted on a pre-dawn rendezvous. Dad was doing his best to make up for lost time by obliterating the speed limit, but we were still behind. As we slowed to pay the toll, I could feel the cool autumn air and already see the streaks of sunrise on the horizon, and we still had 40 minutes to go. These hunting trips were a ritual for us, but my post-college life, a new job, new commitments, maybe even new priorities, was starting to disrupt the regularity of our father-son reunions. And as the hum from the tires changed pitch when we began to cross the giant steel bridge that traverses the Chesapeake, I grew more irritated with Dad. He knew that I was working grueling hours at a nonprofit I'd started in Baltimore, and that it was hard for me to get away from those responsibilities. And as a lifelong hunter and Marylander, he knew the birds had started moving early and was well aware of the guide's protocol. Nonetheless, he'd been close to a half-hour late. We ascended the bridge's incline in silence, I quietly stewing, and Dad lost in his own thoughts. By the time we got to the midway point of the 4-mile-long steel structure, the full expanse of the choppy bay below and the low-lying shore ahead were beginning to be illuminated by the morning sun. The birds will already be flying, I thought to myself. I was growing more annoyed just as Dad, staring out at the same daybreak, suddenly broke the silence, his thoughts far from that day's hunt. "Look at that," he cried, awestruck. "I can't wait to meet God. I can't wait to meet the Creator who made such a beautiful sunrise." Staring out the same window, I mumbled a sarcastic response. "Yeah, it's beautiful, Dad. Thanks for pointing it out." Moments later, as we reached the final expanse of the bridge, it felt as if we were driving straight into the rising sun, massive and reddish yellow over the eastern shore, waiting to swallow us up at the end of our crossing. I looked over at Dad, his face awash in the bright light. He was staring straight into the sun, in a state of awe, eyes wide and unblinking. I could tell he was repeating to himself over and over what he just exclaimed aloud. "I can't wait to meet the Creator who made such a beautiful sunrise. I can't wait to meet God." We finally made it to the ragged cornfield, a bit behind schedule, but not so late as to cause any real problems. Dad was in a typically buoyant mood all morning. He chatted incessantly with our two guides in the goose blind, asking about their lives and families and cracking jokes and becoming fast friends in no time, as only he could. And when the geese finally came in close, he couldn't contain his excitement, and he whooped and cheered us on, causing the first gaggle we saw to reverse course and fly off to safety. Our attempts to get him to shush fell on deaf ears. He kept talking and laughing, at one point breaking out a Snickers bar, taking a hearty bite, and sincerely reacting as if it were a rare delicacy. "This is absolutely terrific," he half whispered. "Who wants to try a bite?" Our guide shook with laughter, which only made his smile broader. Somehow we managed, despite Dad's antics, to get a few geese that morning. I don't think Dad pulled the trigger once, though, preferring instead to watch and congratulate everyone else with a slap on the back. "My God," he'd shout, "what a fantastic shot! You are a magnificent waterfowl hunter." His mood was contagious, and everyone, me included, had a wonderful time. But I was still anxious, no longer because of his late arrival, but because of a contradiction I'd never been able to figure out about my father, one that had been demonstrated to me so starkly in the span of a few hours. His infectious cheer that morning stood in glaring contrast to his startling comment on the bridge earlier. "I can't wait to meet God." I knew Dad's faith was unshakable, that he went to daily Mass without fail, and that his great loves in life were God and my mom. But how could someone so full of life be so ready for death? Not fearful of it, but almost longing for it. How could he, quite literally, be excited to die?